What's going on, everyone? This is Trevor here for RSG, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a look at today. It's something that Kevlar Condom awesomely gave me and the channel, if you would, because it really helps with such amazing audio quality. I can even do this right while I'm talking with you, which I'm not going to play it really while I'm talking with you, because I can't really think much when I do that. Yeah, I'm not that good. But anyways, if you want to find out more of why this is so amazing for a musician or anyone trying to do anything audio recording related, well, you know what you need to do? Like always, you need to stick around. Real quick, I'd just like to explain why I think as a musician, if you don't have this, you're just totally missing out, and I'll explain why real quick. And then we'll get into the up-close shots where I'll explain more about the device. So, why is it so great as a musician? Well, right now I'm recording on a left and right audio, so if I go over here versus going over here, you will hear it in different sides of your headphones. That's especially if you have headphones on, because it's recording on a left and right. I can also change it from a 90 to 120 degrees where it would more shoot out left and right, and you could truly hear a defined left and right, but I am speaking directly to it, so that's perfect. Now, if you're a musician and you have an electric guitar and electric bass, and you want to sing while you're playing, well, you can totally do this on this device right here. Simple. But let's say you want to up it a little more. You want to do a small studio session. Well, you can actually plug in your bass. You could plug in someone else's guitar and another person's guitar and a backup vocalist's microphone and still have a microphone for you, your bass, and the two guitars with the microphone for the backup. Look at that. It all in one session. Only thing you don't have anything to record is the drums, which technically, I mean, the microphone here would, in a sense, pick up, just not 100%, not greatly detailed. But truly, if you were going to mic drums in the first place, you would need a whole board, to be truly honest, because there's a lot of mics that would need to be associated with those drums. But for everything else, I mean, you could do a complete track with this right here, minus the drums, really, and you could have the drums being recorded with this as well. So, you could really do it all. That's one reason right there. You also have a tuner built in, metronomes where you could do songs, beeps, clicks, ticks, everything. It's insane for a musician. There's nothing I could ever imagine better for a musician in this sense of what we're looking at here, and just to be able to play while you're singing along or talking, you know, it just perfect. So what I think we need to do, though, is get right into the up close, look more at the real details. Let me tell you the raw numbers and the insane stuff that this could do, because this just has way too much. And by the way, with 4 AA's powering this thing, you can kind of bring it anywhere, and it only does 20 hours of recording, only, you know. But mind you, it also does phantom power. I'll explain that a little more. If you're going to use stuff like that, it will kill the battery relatively quick. But overall, this thing is a I can't even speak right. A musician's dream. And it's something that you truly need to pick up if you have an interest in music. But like I said, let's get up to those up-close shots and let's explain more about this device, right? Let's get right into this. This is the instruction manual that I didn't read at all, and I just tried it myself. But it's pretty thick, and it's only in one language. So there's a lot to learn because this thing does a lot. Here's the Zoom package that it comes in. Well, the carrying case that it comes in. Not big enough if you have other mics that you buy, but I'll tell you it holds everything I have currently right now. Now, this is the windscreen that it does come with, and I'm using right now, and I love it. This is going to be your mid-side microphone, which the mid-side microphone has a directional right towards you and a left and a right. So it gives you kind of more. I'll explain a little bit later. You'll hear that in an audio sample that I will give. And then also you have your left and right, your XY, which can go in a 90 or 120. You'll see that more up close later, but I'll not really talk about it later. That depends more how you want the sound to travel, like how you want to capture it. So you probably want it on more of like probably a 120 if you were listening to a concert, for instance. But listening to me like this, you want it on 90 because the 90 is more directional at me. So now let's get into the actual unit itself. The unit itself is awesome, looks great. It's not that heavy, it looks a lot heavier than it is, but it's really awesome to have. Now it has 4 XLR inputs. You can have controls on every one, but I'll show you that a little bit more. Here's my pet peeve: max L batteries. 4 AA's it takes. Can do up to 20 hours of recording, but max L batteries, really? $350 unit, you could have given me something a little bit, better, but I guess they expect you to buy your own. Now there's the XLR inputs. You see the SD card also is where it goes there, and a bunch of other stuff, but we'll get into that as we go a little bit different. That fingerprinted up screen will be easily cleaned if you just take your shirt and give it a quick wipe. And then also if you have your mini USB 5-volt input, you can also use that as an AC input, and you can also hit your menu and your scroll bar there, which also doubles as a button as well. It's like a scroll switch. There's your mini USB cable that it comes with, which I personally love mini USB because they were strong as hell. Now let's get into, that is the Movo accessory pack. Windscreen, the dead cat, as they call it. Yeah, we can get that thing out of here for right now because that's not part of this. That's a different thing. So anyways, I mean, it's for this, but we're getting into what came with this. So right here, we have the XY mic. You just really, I like to press the buttons in on the side, but you could just press it down, click it in. Boom, you're good to go. Now it'll work on the LR that you see before the 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is what is your left and right. This thing does 6-channel multi-recording. That is part of these 6 channels. Left and right there is 2 channels in itself. The 4 other XLR inputs are inputs of their own. So those are the 6 channels altogether that make up where you could do 6 channel separate recording. Now this is going to be your mid-side microphone, where it has a directional microphone and a left and a right bi-directional right there. So it's basically like having 3 microphones. I'll explain a little bit more about that later on, where we have the audio sample, and this has a volume knob as well for individual control. Makes a huge difference. Now let's get right onto the side. We have the power. You just hold it, comes right on real quick, boom, and up to record instantly, which is real good. Now you can put it on hold. This way you can't hit buttons and screw anything up, which is important, but we all know what hold is if we've had like Walkmans and stuff like that, back in the day growing up. When I grew up, I knew I had a Walkman. You had to hit that so you didn't go next track. But anyways, let's get on more to the side. We have the volume up and down, more for listening than anything. You have your headphone jack, and you have your SD card input, which takes a full SD card, not a micro, but you always get the adapter usually with it. You have your 2 XLR inputs, which can also take TRS, which is your 1/4-inch jacks, just like you see on most guitars that you plug in, and I was using earlier. Freaking awesome. Awesome. I didn't have to get any different plug. Now, if you look right on the top here, we have our own individual volume knob. Makes a big difference, and I love it. And like I said, here's the 120 versus the 90 degree. Now, more importantly, you see the 020 and the PDA, those switches right there. I went -20 on the input that I was on because it actually sounded better when I did that. So that's -20 decibels if I'm correct. That's just so you don't have too high a gain. But now let's go on to the other side. You have the other XLR inputs. You also have the menu button with the scroll and the 5-volt input that you can use as a power adapter. I'll show you that more when we get into the menu. The menu runs by really quick, so you'll have to kind of keep up with me when we get into that portion, because holy crap. So I think it's about time that we're getting into some of the buttons here. The left and right is going to be for, like I said, right up here. This is going to be for basically any capsule you're going to put up there is going to take up those left and right. The 1, 2, 3, and 4 is going to be for your XLR input separately. So that's how those work right there. You have to choose which ones you want on. This thing can do it all. Now, once we turn them on, you'll see it has the little, red LED right up top. So it tells you what's going on. You can play back with the little speaker that I'm going to show you on the back, which is very tinny, so I suggest not really using it. But that is an option. That is an option. But more importantly to me is the camcorder or the tripod mount, so I can put it onto tripods and my Joby, I think it's Joby Gorilla Pod. I mean, it really helps out a lot to be able to just mount it onto all different types of things. So I think now it's about time we get into this menu, right? Because this menu has quite a bit. Mind you, there is a line out, by the way, and a remote line in on the bottom. The line out goes to like a camcorder. That's what I was using earlier. Now, if you look at all of this, you have your times, your markings, what folder it's going to go into. You have the meters for the sound meters, making sure you don't clip and stuff like that. It would be nice if this was aimed kind of towards you, because right now, a lot of times when I'm talking to this, the mic is aimed towards me and I can't see anything. Even if it was flat, it'd be better than how it's angled down right now, because that only really helps if maybe you're doing an interview. Now, you can put like a shotgun mic, you can buy a shotgun capsule, and that's great to do interviews with as well. So that's another thing to pay attention to. And you'll probably hear the train that's going by right now in the background. But let's get into the most complicated part right here, which is the menu. And there's a lot going on in the menu. So let's get into that right now. On the menu, we've got everything from your folders here. So now on the folders, you can separate everything, put it in, make it more organized for you, easier for you. This is more important to me, the low cut and the limiter. I can't think of the compressor is compressor slash limiter. That you can put on all the tracks. Either one you can put on all the tracks. This way you can't peak and make things crackle and horrible audio quality. Now you have your stereo or raw monitor. I'm just in stereo, so it works great for me. Phantom power, very important, mainly for microphones. Okay, you can choose what voltage you're going to be in, which you can do a wide range of voltages, and you can turn it on and off. Now the thing is, that will tear away at some battery power, so keep that in mind. That really will tear away at some battery power. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about the plug-in power right here. Yes, you have to turn on the plug-in power if you're actually going to use it instead of the batteries. I didn't notice that. I know that was going to be a thing. Mixer monitor, that's not monitor mixer, that's just monitoring your mixer. Overall, the line out level is the last thing I have to tell you about on this menu here, because the line out level you should just keep like that. In my opinion, I think it's perfectly fine. But on that menu right there, we're done. Now let's go into the next part of the menu, which is the recording format. You could do auto recording, which records when it hears above a certain level. You could do pre-recording, which actually how it works is it'll record a couple seconds. If you hit the record button, there'll be a couple seconds of recording beforehand, so just in case you almost missed something. Now you can have your A/B repeat here, or just a complete repeat mode. That's another thing you can take a look at. Recording mode you should also look at is what recording it can go into, and it can go all the way from 44.1 16 bits to 96 kilohertz to I want to say 24 bits, which is absolutely insane. So as you see here, you could do voice memos, you have a tuner for your guitars, you have metronomes. I mean, everything you could possibly imagine is on this darn thing right here. I mean, it's a musician's dream, but a recorder's dream just in general. I mean, look at all this for the metronome. There's just everything you could ever imagine on a recorder on this device, and it does it amazingly. Of course, this is your normal system stuff, you know, factory reset, battery, software version, all that. This can be plugged right into a computer very easily, so just keep that in mind when you're using this. So you can basically use it as a microphone on your computer. You can use it as an audio interface, as you saw right there, and an SD card reader. So basically, that is the Zoom H6. Everything I can possibly think of to tell you on how awesome this thing is. But I think that you should take a look and listen at how this thing is. Now here's the line out that I was talking about, and the remote, which is very important if you're going to be recording stuff, and the headphone jack, like I was saying, you know, especially if you're trying to check your levels. But I think now it's time that we go on over into the other recording for the other microphone, just so you hear how that is. So let's get on to that. Let's end out the video demonstrating the mid-side mic, where it has a mid-directional mic right at you, And it has a bi-directional mic for the sides where you can go on the left and you'll hear them from the left, and you can go on the right and you'll hear me from the right. And you'll hear a lot of sounds from all over the place. Now this is typically something you'll see where they're on a street in a movie and there is like all the sound of traffic and everything, but you can hear them good. This is a good example of what kind of sound you would get from this and what atmosphere it would be good for. Now, since it does still sound great and you might hear some background noises, I think it's still perfect timing to tell you, if you like this channel and you're liking the content, please hit subscribe. If you like the video, please hit like. If you dislike it and you throw that dislike button up there, well, maybe you could throw in the comments of why you dislike it. Other than that, you could throw in the comments just to say hello and what you think of the video. Other than that, share this out so other people know about me. But for all those that are going to keep watching my videos, I'll see you next time. We got the funk thanks to Kevlar Condom. Boom. Thanks, Kevlar Condom. You're the man.